I find it really funny how liberals, they perfected the weaponization of the law against Trump and then want to, play the victim and freak out and attack Trump when he says that he's going to fire them once he gets in office. Okay. They really just can't take in what they dish out. And that's really what you see. And I really think it's ridiculous. But comment down below if you think that Jack Smith's team will resign before Trump's inauguration. I'm curious. What do you guys think? Comment that down below. Before we get into this video, shout out to the King Squad, the King Squad family, the King Squad Elites. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I hope each and every single one of you guys are having a great and awesome day. And let's get into this clip. Shout out to CNN, Fake News Network.
What struck me about this headline is he is then dismantling the investigation, which was based on quite hard evidence that grand juries indicted him for it, of attempting to overturn the 2020 election, but then using the Justice Department to follow and investigate what there is no evidence of. Even his own former Attorney General Bill Barr said so, of significant fraud in the 2020 election. What does that tell you about the direction of the Justice Department under Trump?
I think it's the direction that we all saw coming with another Trump administration. I mean, let's remember that Donald Trump continues to do exactly what he promised to do from the stump. And in this case, that is to seek retribution against the people he thinks did him something, did him dirty, these quote unquote rogue bureaucrats. But let's remind ourselves that these rogue bureaucrats conducted an investigation that complied with the law. They collected evidence. They presented that evidence to a grand jury of 23 of Donald Trump's fellow citizens. And those people, after reviewing that evidence, decided there was probable cause to believe that Donald Trump had committed a crime, both in D.C. regarding the election and in Florida regarding the documents. And that is how he got indicted, not out of lawfare, not out of political persecution, not because Joe Biden said so, but because these folks did their jobs. And now it appears they're going to pay a pretty significant professional price, which is shameful. And it's a state that it's sorry to see that we are sinking to this level where an incoming president just engages in retaliation against people who have the temerity to potentially expose his unlawful activity.
I tell you, the hypocrisy is just insane. It's just wild how these people get through their day-to-day activities with how much they lie to themselves and lie to the public. It's beyond me.
Well, to your point, he said quite repeatedly and very publicly this is what he intended to do in a second term.
Yeah, I really think it's just very hypocritical on their part. I mean, with all the sabotage they've done to Trump and the assassination attempts, the political assassination, financial assassinations, we saw all of that, okay? And to sit here and act like they're the victims is just absurd to me. I mean, what do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about that. And let's get into our next clip. Shout out to Fox. And a lot of people are they want to see Jack Smith go. I want to see Jack Smith go. And the stuff he did was just out of this world. This guy has to be fired and imprisoned. So there's that. Comment down below if you agree. Let's get into our first clip. I will be giving my commentary periodically throughout the video and more so on the back end. Stay tuned for that. Let's go. Smash that like button. Thank you.
The Washington Post reports that President-elect Trump plans to fire the entire team that worked under special counsel Jack Smith at the Justice Department. Those DOJ employees worked on 2 federal prosecutions.
As he should, by the way.
Against the incoming president. The report adds that Trump is planning to assemble teams within the department to investigate alleged fraud in the 2020 election. Let's work on unpacking some of this as we move forward. More on the President-elect Trump's plans for the Justice Department in particular. We are joined by former federal prosecutor Andrew Cherkasky. Thank you so much for giving us a little time on this Saturday afternoon, Andrew. We greatly appreciate it. Kicking things off with just the first start. The idea that an entire team might be fired. Now, it's not unusual for an incoming president, incoming administration to bring in new people, new teams, particularly when legal concerns are made, AGs all across the nation. Your thoughts on this particular headline?
Well, when you look at the people who worked under Jack Smith, you have to think about the credibility of the actions that they brought. First, we have an election that just strongly communicated that the American public vehemently disagrees with what Jack Smith had done over the last 4 years. But then you have to look at the fact that these attorneys working under Jack Smith were pushing a novel legal issue that failed at almost every turn, to include as it went up to the Supreme Court. So if those are the attorneys that were working there, does Donald Trump really want those attorneys to continue in the DOJ? And so I think it's absolutely appropriate to be thinking about and talking about the idea that those folks may be well suited to leave the DOJ. We're not talking criminal prosecutions of those folks, but I think the idea of seeing them out the door is probably wise.
I mean, yeah, they literally sat here and plotted and just did all their best attempts to execute on Trump's downfall. They literally sat here and ordered Order 66 on the Trump administration and Trump's life and his financial future and all that kind of stuff, just out of pure just spite and vindictiveness, and just, it was just wicked. I'm sitting here like, why would he keep them? Why would they stay employed in the DOJ? Just fire them all. That's my thoughts on it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments.
And now shifting gears just a little bit to the AG pick, Pam Bondi. This is a big pick, a Trump loyalist, someone that he has a lot of confidence in, as one would expect. But there's also some criticism coming down. Here's Ellie Honig. She is the former assistant U.S. attorney out of the Southern District of New York, talking about Bondi's pick.
There's nothing wrong or unusual with an attorney general who shares the same politics and ideology as the president. That's the way these things work. But I think the big problem with Pam Bondi is she was a vocal 2020 election denier. And I think that raises legitimate questions about her independence and her credibility. And I expect that to be a sticking point when she goes in front of the Senate.
So he's hitting on something that is also covered in that Washington Post article about President Trump looking back at the 2020 election and seeking answers. Your thought on the president picking Bondi, and what also his focus potentially on looking back at that 2020 election?
Well, Pam Bondi gives President Trump really everything that he was hoping to get from Matt Gaetz, plus much more. Her credibility as a very effective AG in the state of Florida, which has particularly MAGA-type politics, and she's proven herself effective. Matt Gaetz had not run a similar office, so I think that she really is a stronger pick to be able to perpetuate the policies and the ideas that Donald Trump has for the DOJ. As for the criticism of her, I mean, if you want to go back and continue to...
Andrew, I'm so sorry. We are running out of time. I have to wrap this a little bit quicker than I expected. But Andrew Tarkovsky, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you sharing your insights with us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
That's wild. Anywho, as far as my own thoughts go, I personally think that Trump is doing exactly what he's supposed to do, okay? Trump clearly sees that there's a lot of snakes in the grass, and he's getting rid of them. He's mowing the lawn, he's cutting the grass, getting rid of the snakes in the grass, and that's what he should be doing, okay? What is he going to sit here and let me just work with my enemies, and let me just work with these political assassins who sat here and tried to assassinate me politically and ruin everything? Like, what sense does that make? I think everything he's doing is strategic, it's smart, it's wise, and yeah, go through with it. Get rid of Jack Smith and everybody is associated with him and tied to him. These people like people like Jack Smith, you know, when I think of Jack Smith, I'm thinking of like people like Letitia James. If we can get rid of Judge Engoron, I don't know if that's possible, but if we could, that'd be great. But you know, everybody who came after Trump, I'm thinking Jack Smith, Letitia James, Fani Willis, Judge Engoron. Who else? There were a few others. But yeah, the stuff they did was just absolutely ridiculous. Pure political assassination, pure hate, and you know, they were assigned to sabotage him. They were assigned to sabotage him. I remember when Fani Willis came out, everybody was like, oh man, she's a bulldog. She's going to annihilate Trump. And Letitia James, same thing. And then Jack Smith. Jack Smith was supposed to be another shark in the water. And all of these cases started just flopping and failing. And then you got the whole Trump team, legal team, just firing off, just shutting these cases down. And I remember when they hit Judge Engoron with Judge Engoron hit Trump with that giant fine. And it was like, dag, how are we going to make it out of this one? Sure enough, we overcame that too, okay? we just continuously did what we had to do. That's what I remember seeing. And you know, I think that now that Trump has overcome a lot of this stuff, it's time to now move forward and just shut this stuff down. Just seriously, shut this stuff down. They were given way too much power and way too much leadway. That's what I think of when I see these people, okay? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'm really curious about how you guys feel about this situation, these topics, all that kind of stuff. And be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, share these videos. I appreciate you guys greatly. Shout out to the King Squad, the King Squad family, and the King Squad elites. You guys are the bomb.com. You guys are awesome. And don't let anybody tell you any different. All right. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.